What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. So it has been a minute since I've posted on this channel. So first I just want to say thank you guys for being really patient with me on this. I am going to film like an update of like where I've been, like what's been going on in my life. I'll have that on my vlog channel. That'll be up either the next day after this video or the day after that. But if you follow me on Instagram, I'm pretty sure you know what's been going on in my life. So I've just kind of taken a step back. I never really got a break after having a baby. Like I didn't have mat leave or anything, and I just went straight to work and like kind of nonstop. So I think it was really good to kind of just clear my head, take a bit of a break. And with everything going on in the world and in Montreal and in my life, I was like, I just need to take some space to work on myself. But I'm feeling a lot better. So I have been seeing a bunch of videos like this on YouTube, and I thought it would be really interesting to do myself. And I was also very curious to know what you guys thought or what you guys wanted me to talk about, because I feel like I am a very open book, and that is one of the things you guys say is that you really like that I'm super open. But I didn't realize how much I actually hold back from YouTube, because as soon as you guys started asking me questions, I was just like, okay, that's you know, a little personal. But like I also said on Instagram, I'm not going to be discussing other people's business. So if there is questions about other people, that's not myself. I'm not going to be answering those because it is not my business. Although I'm an open book, other people may not be, and it's just not my place to talk about what's going on in their life. Hope you can understand that. Without further ado, let's just get into this video because I think it's going to be pretty interesting, to say the least. I did screenshot some questions. I almost wish I had like somebody else choosing the questions for me, because I still am picking these questions. Maybe in like a part 2 I can do something where someone else picks the questions, like Dan obviously, because we're in lockdown so I can't see anyone else. I guess we'll just start with a juicy one. How much money do you actually make? So this is something that I never talk about online, because first, I think it is inappropriate to ask this question just in general, because I would never go up to somebody and ask them how much money they make. It's just not the way I was raised. But I do get the appeal of wanting to know what content creators make, because it is definitely a new career path, and it is something that a lot of people now are looking into doing genuinely. Like when I started, it was a hobby. It wasn't even something that could be a job. And then it just gradually turned into that over time. But now, because people know it can actually be a job, they want to go into it. And just like most careers, you get a general sense of the money that's made. For instance, I know that lawyers make more money than teachers. Just ballpark, you know? And I think that people assume that like, if you are a YouTuber, you make so much money. I just feel like a lot of people assume that, and that is not the case, because I have never been one to make so much money when it comes to YouTube. Where I get the most money is sponsorships, and that is through a company working with me directly and me promoting their products. So views on YouTube do not make me much money, and that is not to say because I don't get like the craziest views. That is true, but on videos that I have gotten a lot of views quickly, even those videos don't make that much money. So I know for a fact that if you're getting like millions of views per video, yes, you're gonna make good money, but I don't get those views, so I'm not making like tens of thousands of dollars. For example, on this main channel, I make maybe like 1,800 a month Canadian, which is less than what I was making when I was working full-time, like 9-to-5 job. So it's not enough to survive for my family, so that's why I have alternate sources of income, and mainly sponsorships, which I do through Instagram and YouTube as well. That is why I take sponsorships very seriously, because I'm not just gonna like work with anyone. I work with brands that I genuinely like and use on my own, and figured you guys might like to know as well. As for how much I make on those, it really depends, because at least my experience is that companies don't just come to you and they're like, hey, we're gonna pay you X amount of dollars for this video. It's more like, let's do a bundle. So either it's going to be a one-time shot where we work together, we see how it goes, and then talk more long-term. I personally like to work with companies long-term because it builds a relationship. Because I'm using it monthly, it makes sense to talk about it and share it with you guys, and also help with my paycheck, because it is a brand that I'm building a relationship with. So for example, Fabletics, I work with them monthly, and we have a contract on a yearly basis, and that is something that I was so excited to get, because getting a sponsorship like that is so important, because you build that bond with the brand and you just become like really close almost, if that makes sense. When I'm trying out their clothes or talking about their clothes, I feel like I'm talking about a friend's brand because it's people that I really get along with and that I vibe with and that I like. And I also stand for the company. But with that, it's like monthly packages. So either I'll do a YouTube video or do Instagram stories or an Instagram post, and it's kind of a bundle and every month is different. And I like that. It's more organic that way. I don't just like pump out stuff just randomly just for the heck of it, just to make a buck, because then I know, at least for myself personally, if I'm watching somebody on YouTube and they're just doing whatever brand they can and I can tell I'm just like not into it and I get annoyed. So why would I want to be that kind of person for you guys? And I feel like for the most part, you guys trust my opinion, and usually if someone like disagrees with something that I talk about, it's because like their own experience wasn't the same as mine, which I feel like that's with everyone. If I'm buying something from somebody, I know that they liked that thing for themselves, and if I trust that person, then I know that what I'm getting usually I'll like because I like what that person talks about. There has been times where I bought things because influencers talked about it and I didn't like it myself. That doesn't make me think that that person was lying. It just makes me think that wasn't for me. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Anyways, this is like going off track now, but I do think that there's a way you can do sponsorships, and I've definitely been guilty in the past of like making a whole video a sponsorship where it should be more of like an organic mention, and that's just my bad on like how I set up the video. It's not because I'm not genuinely using it, if that makes sense. And I think the most money I've ever made from a YouTube video is $8,000, which is a lot of money, but that was over time. It wasn't like right away, because the way YouTube works, it accumulates over time and then they pay out monthly. So it's not just like one video made this amount of money, although you can check that now. It's kind of like how much all your videos made in that month paid out. So I'm pretty sure it was like a random video, honestly, because a lot of my big videos got demonetized. Like my wedding video, I can't monetize it because there's music. There's a lot of videos I made that they're not monetized, so I'm not actually making any money off of them. But I think it was like, I want to say like the Mystic Falls video. The reason why I'm not talking about how much money I make with active sponsorships is because that actually goes against contract and I can get in trouble. And I don't know about previous contracts if I can ever talk about that kind of stuff because I don't want to get sued. So that's the only reason why I'm not talking about that. When I watch these videos and I see people talk about that they make like 6 figures, I'm like, that is not my experience. So no, not every YouTuber makes a crap ton of money. And that is why Dan and I are saving and being smart with our money, because this may not last forever. And that is another question I was getting a lot is YouTube our only job? Do we have any goals for the future, etc.? That is something I've kind of talked about here and there, but I never really talk about it much because I just felt like always it wasn't anyone's business. But Dan does do like everything other than being in front of the camera on this channel. He does vlog on the second channel, but he does like all the finances, administrative work, all emails, all business stuff. When it comes to like literally everything behind our business is Dan. He does all the editing for the vlogs and stuff. I was in charge mainly for the main channel and then working on projects here and there, which I don't really want to talk about that yet because it's not even in existence yet. But yes, we do have plans and working on other businesses outside of YouTube, and I will obviously share that when I know more and when it's more like set in stone, because I'm not going to just like say things and have it not be true. I don't know. I'm kind of superstitious like that. Okay, I got this question a lot and I honestly forgot about this. It was, why were you never allowed to talk about your age when you worked for Brandy Melville? If you guys have not been following me for a long time, the reason why I started on social media was because I was working at Brandy. This was like 2013, so long ago. And it wasn't that I was never allowed to talk about my age. It was more just like because we always sold to like younger people, and I was 23 at the time, so I was a lot older than most people, because right now I'm 30 and people are always shocked by my age, which is a compliment and not at the same time, because I feel like, oh, maybe it's because I'm young, but then I'm like, wait, it's because I'm like really immature. I don't know. Anytime I would talk about my age, people would like freak out. They would be like, what? You're so much older than I thought. And then it just kind of got like embarrassing, honestly. So I stopped talking about it for a while. And I mean, now I don't care. Now I feel like I'm a mom. I'm legit the age, I act the age I'm supposed to. I don't know. If my personality is a little bit different, that's just the way that I am, the way that my sister is. it is what it is. Are you still friends with your New York friends? I get asked this a lot. Yes, we're still friends. It's hard because we don't see each other since the borders between US and Canada are closed, and because of the pandemic, we're obviously not allowed to travel or anything, but we do still text and we keep in contact. It's hard. I don't even see my friends here in Montreal because we are in the red zone. I literally don't see anyone, and that's definitely hard on my mental health because it's tough when you have a baby and you can't see family or friends. But I do have to say, Dan and I do take it seriously because we are in a pandemic, and like my parents both have COVID right now and are very sick. So I don't know, it is something that I think that everyone should listen to and follow so that we can slow down the spread in the hospitals. But anyways, I don't want to talk about COVID much because that it just makes me upset. But yeah, I am still friends with my New York friends. It's just hard because we don't get to see each other that often. Everyone wants to know how my mental health is after having a baby. He is now 6.5 months old. It's crazy. I cannot believe how fast time flies. My mental health is really good when it comes to the baby. Like I said, the only thing that's hard is the fact that we're in a pandemic, and it does make me worried long term for his sake. Like, how long is this going to go on for? Is he going to be okay socially? When am I going to be able to like go to the pool with him or do all these things because everything is closed? So it's more that kind of worrying versus like anything postpartum. And I do have to say that a lot of the things I was struggling with beforehand, before getting pregnant, I don't struggle with that right now. And I don't know if that's because of my hormone change after having a baby. I don't know. But all I can say is that Dan and I still do therapy regular. We do every 2 weeks through, it's like a Zoom thing, but it's more secure than that with our therapist. Honestly helps a lot because we get to talk about everything that's going on in our lives, and it just is so helpful. So I really highly recommend therapy. Yeah, it's like it's one of the best investments you can make if you're spending money on a gym membership or on an app that you can do from home. I recommend spending money on a therapist as well. If you don't have like healthcare and insurance that can cover it, I think it's worth the money for sure. Okay, so, like the most asked question is like the relationship between Daniel and Kyla. Like I said, I'm not talking about anyone's business that's not mine. All I can say is that their personalities just really clashed when Dan and I first started dating, which was almost 9 years ago now, so it was a very long time ago. We were all very young. And they get along so fine right now. My sister's done a lot of growing. Dan's really different now too, so their personalities just vibe way better than it did before, and that's all I'm gonna talk about it. If they wanna talk about it on their ends, they can. You can ask them, but I'm not gonna talk about it here. But yeah, that's like the most asked question, so I just want to acknowledge that I am seeing it, but it's not my place. The worst argument you and Dan ever had or if you ever broke up, and how did you guys overcome it? So yes, Dan and I actually did break up in like 2015 for a few months, but it was more like a break, I feel like. It's weird because like I said, Dan and I've talked about this before, I think. I don't even think I was ever avoiding it, but we were just arguing a lot about everything, and that is exactly why we started couples therapy, and it had like completely changed. It has like completely changed us as people. We communicate so well now. Although nothing is perfect, we still argue. We are not a perfect couple. We know how to press each other's buttons, but it's something that we're working on. Because like, for example, now, Dan knows things that will set me off. So if he's frustrated about something, like, I'm trying to think of an example. So like, example that happened this morning. I was pumping and then I put my, like the rest of the stuff in the garbage. Like I wiped up or whatever, I put in the garbage. And he was frustrated because he's like, you see the garbage is full. Why didn't you just take out the garbage and throw it in the bin in the garage instead of just like leaving it full for me to do later? So that's kind of like a normal argument. And if you were to say that, I would probably say, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna work harder on it. I like honestly didn't think, which is a little selfish of me, and I know that I should probably clean up after myself a little bit more and, you know, empty the recycling, empty the garbage, etc. But instead, he would say something like, God, again, you didn't clean the garbage? You were raised with like no discipline, so like no wonder you're never gonna act like this, and blah blah blah. And he like throws in little jabs about like the way I was raised or whatever, which is hurtful, and then I get defensive because I'm like, what the heck? Whereas, and I do the same thing to him too, like with things. So in those moments, telling him like that hurt my feelings, but I would love to know like genuinely what you're feeling in this moment. so he can talk about his point of view and not getting defensive in the moment and turning it into a fight. That is something that I'm working on, and he's working on not jabbing, if that makes sense, and vice versa too. Because frustration and anger usually comes from a place of hurt, so he's upset that he always has to take out the garbage. That's just a small mundane example. There are way bigger examples that we get into arguments about, like things for Arky's future that we disagree on, but we always said that we will always agree with each other in front of the baby as he grows up, and then we'll talk about it behind closed doors, because we just never want to be those people that just like argues about something in front of him and have him feel like he's right. I don't know if that makes sense. Am I even making sense? But yeah, it's just like fights like that. And the biggest reason as to why we overcome it is because of therapy. We learn a lot about how to communicate with each other. She knows honestly everything about our pasts. So she knows how things tick off Dan, how they tick me off, how we can work around it. Dan is very much like a problem solver, and when things are not going right, he needs to fix it. And sometimes things can't be fixed and it drives him crazy, because he's almost like too smart. He's like, I wish I could just like take my brain and put it into this person and just be like, you know? So I kind of get where he's coming from. Am I even making sense? I feel like I make sense in my head because I know firsthand like what I'm talking about, but I feel like if you're an outside looking in, you're kind of like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Maybe I'll make another video and like really talk about it. How do you feel about losing followers? Oh my God. I mean, I guess like, it's weird because I'm losing followers, but gaining people that are more on my level right now. So it doesn't bother me that much because I'm like losing a lot of my older audience and gaining a newer one that is on the same level as me, like new moms or pregnant people or people that are interested in, you know, pregnancy, mom stuff, postpartum, family video type style stuff, because my content is definitely different than it used to be, and that is one thing I did want to talk about eventually, is where this channel is going. I never want to stop making the content that I used to make, but it's just going to be different because I'm different. So I'm not into a lot of the same things that I used to be because I changed a lot now being a mom. My interests are different. The people I follow on social media are different. I definitely want to be more real with you guys, but on a different level, and I think that's just going to change as I get older, and finding my new audience is something that I'm excited about. So if I'm losing followers, it's fine, because, you know, new people will come in, and people that want to stay are the people that are genuinely interested in what I have to talk about. And if people are not interested, that's okay. I don't take it to heart because I unfollow a lot of people too. I grow out of them, and it is what it is. And I've been on social media now for a long time, and I feel like my content has definitely changed over time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so as one audience goes, another one comes. And it's not really affecting my work. It doesn't affect me mentally. Yeah, so that's kind of where I stand on it. How do you feel about mom shaming? Okay, so it's weird because I don't get a lot of mom shaming, but I also don't go through my DMs that often for that exact reason. Because although I get so many beautiful, nice messages, I do still get hate, and I still do get, you know, people that will judge no matter what. People that send hate normally are coming from a place of hurt, and I try as hard as I can to not let it affect me because I know that they're just hurting themselves. But then I do get some people that are coming from a place of concern, and they mean well, their approach is wrong. So it's definitely hard to find a balance. I just have to keep reminding myself that, you know, I not to take everything personally, and everyone parents differently, and if someone is parenting a certain way that is different than mine, then that's okay. So that's kind of how I deal with it, is I try to avoid it, but if I do come across it, I take it with a grain of salt. Your religious beliefs. Okay, this is something I actually never ever talked about online, and I feel like this could be a whole video on its own because it is something I have actually really avoided. So I think that I'll probably make a part 2 to this if you guys are interested in seeing that, because this is just going to be way too long. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. Yeah, I feel like I answered a lot now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you get a little bit more of a sense of me and who I am. And if you guys do have any other questions for part 2, leave them down below in the comments and I'll definitely try to answer them. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and let me know what kind of content you want to see. If you want to see a part 2, if you want to see more stuff with my sister, I would love to do that. Obviously, we can't be in person right now, but eventually, or we can even do things kind of like over Skype and she films it on her end and I film it on my end. I don't know. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!